You're listening to the Happiest Girl in the Room podcast. Hey. Welcome back to the Happiest Girl in the Room podcast, also known as the Happiest Diaries. My name is Ayodele Alabi, and I want to wish you a happy new month. It's the first day of November. November is actually my favorite month in the year. It used to be December, and I still really like December, but all my favorite people are born in November, so so now I must admit November is now my favorite time of the year. My 2 kids are born in November. My absolute favorite sister also born in November. So what are we saying? All right, so how have you been? I've been good, busy, and busy is good. I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful for everything. I'm grateful to see the beginning of a brand new month, the 11th month in the year, 2024. So today, I want to talk on something. I was actually triggered by a meeting I had today. I'm part of the DEI committee at my workplace, and DEI stands for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. And we have regular meetings to speak to how we can further embed diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workplace. It's normal for every forward-thinking organization to do this sort of efforts and to have those indices that you measure, indices with the actions to move the needle, and then you're constantly tracking the actions and the efforts against the results that you want to see. But let me go straight to the point of today's conversation. So I got into the meeting and the topic was, it's November, and November is International Men's Month. Yeah, apparently we have International Men's Day in November. So here we are to put together a plan to celebrate men for International Men's Day. I have no issues with that. I have my reservations, I won't lie, which is probably why I brought out my phone immediately, because we literally just ended the meeting and had so much to say on that call. I said a lot because I also was trying to be as, accepting as accepting of other people's beliefs and opinions, but on some particular themes or topics or issues, I have very strong opinions, and this one is one of them. Let me break it down. Okay, so we started the meeting and we started to talk about International Men's Day and how we need to plan the celebration. As the conversation progresses, I start to hear more and more about how this celebration needs to be as grand as the Women's Day. And I'm hearing it here, hearing it there, everyone is saying it, laughing. And to me, I'm like, this is not a laughing matter. I'm sorry. There are some issues I take personal, and I think women's issues is one of them. And so I was like, and the louder it gets, the more I was like, okay, I need to educate these people. And then I raised my hand, unmuted, and I had to set something straight. And which is why I said, okay, let me just talk about it, because I felt like I didn't say enough, because I was being mindful of everyone on the call. I understand that not everybody gets it, and not everybody can get it immediately, because these issues are deep-rooted issues. And so I just said the most that I could say. Because as they were talking, I started thinking, why are we even celebrating Men's Day? Because there was a Women's Day, then somebody decides, okay, let's celebrate the men too and their achievements, etc. But I think that what this is doing is making us miss the entire reason why we are even celebrating International Women's Day. And if we, did some research, you would understand that we're not celebrating women because we just said, okay, we just woke up one morning and said, women, let's celebrate ourselves. International Women's Day was instituted to celebrate the advancement of women and to draw attention to, the fact that the female gender is still marginalized in many ways. And that's why we're celebrating advancement. So it's like an achievement for us. And that's why it is that's why it deserves to be celebrated. Because in some countries and in some societies, we still have this huge, wide gender gap. Some societies are more advanced than others. But International Women's Day is so that we can all work together to create a world that's free of stereotypes and biases and prejudices against the woman. Women could not vote at some time. Women could not drive cars. Women could not do a lot of things that came easily to men. That's what we're talking about here. And that's why when we're bridging those gaps and women are having the rights to do those things that their male counterparts can't do, it's worth celebrating. And that's why International Women's Day is being celebrated. You understand? And so I'm sitting here and I'm listening and I'm hearing men saying they want to celebrate International Men's Day just as loudly as Women's Day is celebrated. And I'm sorry, I'm just thinking, is this ignorance or is this just entitlement that went to Harvard? Because I just cannot get it. Have you ever seen someone who is already seated? Like you're sitting and somebody offers you a chair, please sit. It's why it's unnecessary, right? You get, if I was standing and somebody offers me, oh, do you want to sit? It makes sense, yeah? But I'm already seated and somebody comes and meets you. Do you want to sit? You look at the person weird, right? Because I'm already seated. That's exactly how I feel about Men's Day, if I'm being honest. Let me let me try and explain it in another way. You know how annoying it is when you say Black Lives Matter and then someone says, all lives matter. Yeah, nobody's saying all lives don't matter. But we're saying Black Lives Matter because of the exclusion. It seems like blacks were being targeted at some point and the killings and everything. And that's why there's a movement that's tagged Black Lives Matter. Nobody is saying that any other life don't matter. No, you get it. And so I'm just here wondering, so because there's a Women's Day to push for gender parity and equal rights for women, just like, our male counterparts, does that mean that we should be, also have a Men's Day? It's like, aren't they already represented and favored in the societal structures? Okay, let me awareness days aren't about taking away from others. They're just mainly about demanding for equality for marginalized groups. It's about creating space for people who need space, people who have been disadvantaged. That's what awareness days are for. So when people are doing DEI and celebrating these and doing that, it's about recognizing and addressing structural inequalities. It's not about giving everyone the same platform. Because the truth is, some voices are already amplified. That's what equity is about. You bring somebody who is 6'4", you bring somebody who is 5'3", which is my height, and then you say we should reach something that is maybe on top of a shelf that is probably maybe 6'5" or 6'6". Guess who's already at an advantage? The person who is 6'4", because he just probably needs to tiptoe and he grabs it. But me at 5'3", what would I do? I'm looking around to grab something I can stand on, and while I'm doing that, he's already tiptoed and he's gotten what he needs to get. So that's why we need to understand the rationale behind this awareness days and why we speak about equality and equity and inclusion. It's not about taking away from anyone. It's just about addressing the inequalities that exist. Yeah, okay. I'm talking too much, but let me see if I can explain it. So that people don't think that this is a hate speech against men, because it's nothing like that. It's just that I feel like we're losing the essence of the awareness that these days are supposed to represent. And that's why it's paining me. It's paining me so much. International Women's Day does not diminish men. Black Lives Matter movement does not diminish white people or red people or any other colored people. There's Albinism Awareness Day. It doesn't diminish people who are not albinos. there's Disability Awareness Day. It doesn't diminish, people who have no disability. You get where I'm going with this. I really wish that we could understand. So I'm not saying, oh, let's not celebrate men or let's not celebrate Men's Day. But I'm just saying that let's keep the day and the celebrations to focus on the issues that really matter, which is, addressing structural inequalities. That's it. So you want to use Men's Day to speak about how men can support the gender equality movement. How can men play part in bridging the gender gap? How can men begin to admit that they have enjoyed the patriarchal society or the structure for so long? A lot of women will tell you that, oh, there's male privilege. If you're a woman and you're listening to this, you would be nodding your head that, oh yeah, there is something called male privilege. But if you ask your male friends, they will say, because we know that the patriarchal system sort of centers everything around the man. The system just has a way of favoring men and excluding women. Can we even get men to acknowledge these privileges, and so that they begin to see it, and so that it does not negatively affect the gender equity or equality progresses we are making? Can men begin to, when you become sensitive to something and you see that it's happening, you can just call it out and say, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. I'm getting these privileges because I'm a man. You don't have to voice it out, but take action to correct that, whatever it is. Just make an effort. That's what we're saying. But if you ask any man, or if you ask most men, they'll say, oh, really? They don't know it exists. But it's not their fault. It's because when you're not affected by something, you're not sensitive to it, really. So you won't notice if something is wrong or if something is right. So let's talk about the facts. Black Lives Matter isn't exclusive. It's not excluding any group of people. It's just a response to systemic exclusion. All lives matter, that people now say, it sounds nice, but it's, delusional. Let's be honest. Just as International Women's Day is not about excluding men, it's about recognizing the dominance of men and the male perspective, and trying to ensure that we have a balance, gender parity. So this is not about me attacking men or attacking any individual or any group. I'm just asking us all to exercise a little mindfulness. I'm saying it's important that we do not lose sight of what these awareness days represent. They represent addressing the systemic advantage that comes with being part of a dominant group. And we can't do it alone. Women cannot continue to speak up for women's rights. It's faster when we do it together. When men join the cause, it's faster. You understand? When we begin to understand that we still have a lot of society where women's rights are still an issue, then we can pack women, and on Men's Day, men can, do whatever it is that they think they should be doing. So if we're to celebrate Men's Day, let's make it about educating and encouraging men on adopting the progressive mindset for equality and equity for men and women. Equality means each individual or group is given the same resources or opportunities. Equity recognizes that each person, each group has different circumstances and allocates the exact resources and opportunities needed to reach an equal outcome. So you need to understand that everyone is not starting at the same place. So we need to be able to make those adjustments for fairness based on the needs that each group or each individual has. So men and women are not in the same place. Let's stop with the comment like, oh, let's celebrate Men's Day as loudly as we celebrate Women's Day. Let's men begin to champion this cause of gender equality, gender equity, parity. And if we do want to celebrate the men, let's celebrate the men who are already doing this, who are championing this cause, the men who get it, helping us to amplify this message. Very short one. I'm going to close now. I'm going to close with Genesis 1:27, where God says, He created man in His own image, that we were created in the image of God. I believe He said male and female. He created them. Equality. Okay. Thank you for listening to the Happiest Girl in the Room podcast. I hope I didn't make you angry, and I hope that you actually get what I'm trying to say. I would really like to hear from you. What do you think? Should we bring out the trumpets, roll out the red carpets, and do the same fanfare we do for Women's Day, we do for Men's Day, celebrating men and their achievements? Or do you agree with me that if we want to celebrate Men's Day, then let it be about the real issues? How can men help address the systemic inequalities that exist in our society? Thank you. I'll be reading in the comments. Thank you for listening. Ciao. Bye-bye. You're listening to the Happiest Girl in the Room podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Happiest Girl in the Room podcast. See you next